Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play, and I'm so happy you're here. I'd love to know what you're stitching, and if somebody recommended my channel, I would love to know where you've come from. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here and watching and sharing cross stitch with me. I appreciate the time that each and every one of you take to watch my videos. It is actually Saturday morning. I am refilming this again. I filmed a video on Friday morning like I normally do. It was quite long and YouTube has said, nope, I've tried for hours and hours and hours to upload it and it's nowhere near uploading. So I said, I'm gonna try this again, maybe try not to talk as much and hopefully get my video uploaded. I thought I would real quick because as I go back and forth, you might be able to see. My t-shirt, A Day Without Cross Stitch, probably wouldn't kill me, but why risk it? It's super comfortable. Got it from Etsy. I really like it. Alrighty, so let's get going because we've got Flosstube stitching to talk about. So a couple things before I show you my, and then I say I've got to talk a couple things to tell you. I did get quite a bump of subscribers this past week, and I suspect it is from a very lovely shout out from Running with Scissors, Jane and Julie. I was watching along and I think there was a reference to Aida, and Jane just gave this wonderfully lovely recommendation of what we do here at Stitching by the Shore with a lot of Aida stitching. And she talked about how, you know, the fabrics, what they're like nowadays and how much fun it can be to use Aida. And also talked about scrapbooking my pieces and, you know, something that was interesting to her, and recommended my video from Flossmas in December about showing my scrapbooks. So I do have a playlist on scrapbooking my stitches if you are here because you were intrigued by that. And a heartfelt thank you to Jane. I think her and I are gonna try to stitch something together. So I have a couple ideas, Jane, so I'll reach out to you. But huge thank you and a huge welcome to all who might be here. The other thing that I did get asked quite a bit, because I talked about last week, was that I finally did it. I got Pattern Keeper, but in order to get Pattern Keeper, I needed to get a device for it because I am an iPad person, and which I love, and I, for the life of me, my brain cannot wrap itself around markup RXP. I know a lot of people love it, and if you have a brain that can tackle it better than mine, there's so many people that do say they use it and do like it. So nothing against that. I just, I'm not super technical and I needed something that was a bit more intuitive. To this day, there's certain things in my car. I've had the car for 10 years and I still don't know how to do a few things because it's just not intuitive. But anyway, what I did was I went and Googled something like best devices for Pattern Keeper, and there was a recommendation that came up from Pattern Keeper itself. You needed at least 2 gigs of something. I'm not really sure. So I followed that, went and searched. I ended up getting it on Amazon because our closest Best Buy or anything like that is in Dover. So that would be, you know, 40 minutes away. But I ended up getting, and I screenshotted it just to show you, I got the Samsung Galaxy. Did I write it down so I can see it at the same time? I think I did. Or if not, I'll hold up. There we go. So you can see. It is the Samsung Galaxy tablet S6 Lite, 10.4 inches. I didn't know what to get. I ended up getting the 128. I have no idea if I was supposed to get that or not. When I bought it, it was a supremely, something like 55% off. I don't know. It was a very good deal. I don't know what it currently was. When I did check earlier in the week to send a picture to a couple people, it was more than that. So I don't know exactly what the cost is currently on that. But all I use it for is Dropbox, which is where I keep all of my patterns. Any digital thing I buy, I put it into Dropbox, and Pattern Keeper. So that's really it. That's all I've installed on there. That's all I could figure out. And it works beautifully on it. If I did join a couple of Pattern Keeper groups on Facebook. So far, I haven't had to ask questions, but I figure I can search them or ask questions. It seems like they're fairly helpful. So that's that. If you have more questions about my experiences with this, or I don't know, if there's anything else you need to know about that device, just ask and I'll see what I can do about it. But I'm loving it, and I have to say it's really, I've enjoyed full coverage cross stitch, you know, as the last few years have evolved, but that has really helped increase that enjoyment quite a bit. So I'm super thrilled with it, and it was just a really well worth purchase, in my opinion, for my stitching. So hopefully that helps. All right, so let's get going on my stitching, speaking of which. Alrighty, let's start with this year's New Year, New Start was Fish and Ships, and it was from Long Dog Samplers. And this is the first Long Dog Sampler I've stitched, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, everything was ironed yesterday. It is very early, well, not very early, it's 7 a.m., but it's early enough. And I wasn't gonna pull out the ironing board. Well, it's a tabletop board, but I wasn't pulling out the board and the iron and everything else. We're just gonna imagine, right? They looked fairly neat yesterday. Alrighty, I'm going without overhead lighting. I tried it and it just looked very harsh. So we're just going with the natural light and see what we get here. I think it's gonna work out just fine. Here is where I am on this one. As you recall, I rotate this one with 3 other pieces for a week's worth. And when I do it in a week, I try very, very hard to get 500 stitches in that piece for that week. And then sometimes for challenges or games, it may come out again at some other point. I don't, for the games, I go with whatever the game, 100, 200, whatever it says, that number of stitches. So when it comes out extra, I'm not trying for another 500. That's only for the week that it's part of. So this is an 18 count. It's from the blue-green pack from Dying for Cross Stitch. She sold kind of like for a Black Friday sale in 2023. So I don't know what this is called beyond that. It's really pretty though. I am using Flosh, DMC Flosh, and we're gonna do a quick talk about that in just 1 second. And for the back stitch, the Flosh I found was really too thick. So I ended up using Sulky. And I don't know if those numbers on top, are those the official numbers? 1001 is what the top says. So that's what I'm using. And it's really nice for the back stitch. I think I'm going to enjoy using that. There's not a ton of that on there, but, you know, better than the other, because the other was getting the Flosh is a little too thick, so it loses the distinction of back stitch. And this is, except for the top border, which I haven't brought all the way over, that is the edge. So that's approximately how wide it is. It's not super wide, it just is longer. So really enjoying this one quite a bit. And I'm enjoying the first Long Dog I'm stitching. So Flosh, when you buy Flosh, because I've had a few people ask about it, and I want you not to make the mistake I made, and I'm going to show you my mistake. So this is, I've been buying it from 123 Stitch. I know there are places on Etsy you can get it. Watch it on Amazon, because the prices are sometimes 2.5 times what you can get it at, say, 123 Stitch or something. So just be careful on that. But this is what it looks like. So it looks like a giant, if I pull in here, let's pick a brighter color. If I go in here, this is my DMC drawers. So if you look, it just looks like a giant skein, right? It's 1-stranded, not 6. It's a little bit thicker. For 18 count, I use just the 1 strand. I don't double it up. It would be way too thick. So it just looks like a giant skein. So I thought, well, then you find the, you know, if I looked real close, I'd find the end and I'd start pulling. And I would just do all the tricks that I do with my regular skein. Well, if you do that, you will end up with this mess. Now I've worked it so that there's a mess there and a mess over here. So I may end up, actually, I probably won't finagle it too much because it's not worth it. But when you pull, it just starts to get really like this. And then you're spending more time undoing it than anything else. So I went along Google and I searched how to unwind floche or use floche. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's okay because I'm going to link you to a video, and I'm going to tell you about one more other video. And I found Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. She did a video probably about 10 minutes long where she went through specifically how she does the floche. If you're interested in a longer video because you want to learn about hanks of silk and so on and so forth, look, I will link, I don't know what video it is, but I will link the Flosstube, Teresa Little Stitcher. She's over in England. You know who I'm talking about. Does a lot of beautiful full coverage. She has I think it's an hour-long video, and I think it's the very end that she addresses the floche. Both Teresa and Denise do the floche in the same exact way. So if you just want that quick video, well, they look the same at the end. I'm assuming maybe there's a little bit different in the tricks. I didn't get all the way through Teresa's video. I saw what it looked like, and I saw what Denise's looked like, and I kind of just assumed. So, you know, maybe they're slightly different, and apologies to Teresa, I didn't see all her video. I didn't make it pretty. Denise makes it pretty with, and so did Teresa, with braiding. I did not, but I followed Denise's tutorial exactly to get to this point. And this is how I'm using it. Now, they're all just single strands this length, which is what I've been using. And you basically, you see the opening here? I just hold it, I pull, and there's my single strand. So it has been so much easier. I will continue, of course, to use this up first before I tackle this. I have no idea how many stitches I can get in one of these kind of skeins. So I have extra just in case, because at one point, 1, 2, 3 Stitch did not have the blanc. And so then I was worried I wouldn't be able to get it. So I would suggest the tutorial if you are interested. And I went and, you know, I had bought a few other colors just to play around with the floche. I've got them all set, ready to go. And, oh, I should put this in there, the picture. And I am just happy as can be. So much easier. It was a game changer using it because it was frustrating pulling it. And then, of course, trying to untangle more than you're stitching. So that's what I would suggest if you'd like to try floche. I'm loving it. I'm loving the coverage on 18 count. The white looks great. I'm super pleased with it. Okay, so I do have a finish, one finish. March, this is the only finish I've had in March. I had a rash of finishes January, February. I think I was kind of clearing out those pieces that were close, really close. And then it's taken me some time. But I did come in at the end of the month with March's Daffodil, and that is by Cottage Garden Samplings. And so now January, February, and March are done. Super excited about that. And if I can grab it, here we are. I did not, there's two sections I didn't stitch. Whoops. That little piece right there and that down there. I am, you would know unless you're new, I am lean more on the minimalist side than maximalist. I think I might be making up the word, but whatever. And I will pull things out of a pattern if I feel like it's just a tad, for me, too busy. And I really like it just like the way it is here versus having added those extra pieces. So I was happy to call this a finish. This is 18 count Lilac Mist from Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And it's fun. I love purple. I'm a big fan of purple, but I don't stitch on a lot of purple fabrics. So it was a fun experiment. I wasn't really sure in the beginning when the yellow went in, but in the end I like it. So this will this will go into the finishes drawer. And when I have all 12 of them done, then I will scrapbook them into a collection. And I'm leaning more and more to 2 per page, having whether it's a 12 by 12 or an 8.5 by 11, however I do it size-wise, doing 2 per page. So that would be 6 scrapbook pages. All right, so that is that one. Let me go next. All right, so next one is one of my 2 full coverages. I didn't work on it last week because of the riff off in Whip Warriors, so I put it aside. But I did pull it out this week to get the rest of its 10-day rotation. Actually, oh, you know, it would help if I looked in the right folder. I was like, it's somewhere near the top, but then I just kept scrolling pictures. So this is Mini Sunflower Cottage. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and the artwork is by Dona Gelsinger. So generally, I have been giving my full coverages a minimum of 1,000 and been getting that within 10 days, you know, kind of 100 stitches a day. So it's kind of like however number of strands a day that would ever be. So that's where this one is. No, I put it away after I filmed yesterday because that Thursday was my 10th day. So this did not get any more extra work. This is how it would have been seen yesterday. I'm pleased with it. I mean, I still have quite a bit of confetti to kind of make up for. Some down here, then up through here, and then up here. Now that I have Pattern Keeper, it's been making my life so much easier because I can pick a symbol, say there's confetti here, but then there's a little bit there, and I just kind of jump around. And so I'm getting filled in spots quite a bit more, which is nice. Full coverages for me, I'm currently doing all of them on 18 count, white Aida, 2 strands over 1, and I'm doing full crosses. So I am really happy with where this got to. I think in the 10 days of work, it got about 1,500 stitches. If I remember correctly, I'm not 100% sure on that. I do count my stitches daily, and then I have them in my book. And then when the 10 days are up, I just go and I manually. I suppose I could figure out, I could write, now that I have Pattern Keeper, where it started and then where I end after 10 days. But I have a system, so we're going with the system. I had 3 new starts this week. This one was planned for March, but March's starts have exploded this year. How many did I do? If I have my planner book, I love having my planner book here, and I did do a video, if you're interested, on my planners. I have a challenge book and a planner book, and then also kind of keep track of my stitches book, just in general, month to month, really easy. So new starts, March, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. 7 starts. But this one was planned. This is Carolyn's Balloon Spring by Jan Hicks Creates. I did autumn and winter. Love them, but got burnt out of balloons, so I took quite a break. I do have spring and summer, and I think I will start summer this year and just get them both kind of going. And they're not huge. I'm going to show you autumn in just 1 minute, just to show you size-wise. They're not humongous, and they're, you know, there's lots of just fun little elements to do. So that's what I've got so far. And this is 18 count, what is it, Car Wash from Fortnight Fabrics. And what I decided to do was I stitched autumn on Car Wash as well. So let me show you that. So that's the finish. It's already got its interfacing on the back of it because the 4 of these will be a 4-part collection in the scrapbook. And I decided on winter, which I didn't pull, it is on a Fabrics by Stephanie fabric. I believe it's Lady of the Lake. So totally different vibe and different color scheme. I'm really hoping that summer, I'll do a floss toss. Hopefully summer will work on that because I really wanted to do 2 different colors of fabric and kind of have like a theme, a color theme cohesiveness throughout the collection of these 4. So these 2 definitely, I did a floss toss, and this one really works nicely. Really fun kind of fabric with balloons and so on and so forth. So it kind of looks like they're floating up into the clouds. So that's the start of it. There's more stitching than you realize, to be honest with you. But I want to say that's probably at least 300 stitches. When I do a start, actually I want to put this to the side. I don't want to stick that in there. When I show you a start, I really try hard to do a minimum of 200 stitches before I show it to you. And before I really get it going into, I mean, that number is give or take, but I really try to have something that I can really see so that I know, and I've got it kind of that little running start with the starts. Sometimes I used to try to do a little bit more than that at the very beginning, but you know, there's a lot to stitch and not as much time to stitch it all, right? So we have to be judicious. My second full coverage, I started the 10-day rotation in March, but it was like the 9th or 10th of March, and I was having so much fun with it that I said, I'm going to keep going past the 10 days and basically try to give it, you know, maybe 100 stitches a day. And I have been so far successful, even through the riff off for Whip Warriors. I did do this one. Obviously, I just didn't count it in the challenge. But this is Mini Paris Morning. It is from Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is, that's who charted it, and the artwork is by Uliana Babenko. And if you are new, I had a adorable little Havanese named Shamrock, and this little puppy reminds me so much of Shamrock. This May we'll have lost him 2 years. It'll be 2 years since we'll have lost him. And he was the light of our lives. And Shamrock used to sit there, and he was a horrible beggar. We wouldn't really feed them. You'd think after years and years, he would learn that we're not going to feed him, but he would still beg. And this little doggy has his little tongue out, and it's just, I just had to stitch it purely for, I mean, the colors are fabulous, and it's a really cute picture, but that was what sold me on it. And so I'm going to hold it back for a second to show you the full piece. I have 3 of the 4 corners done, so you can get a sense of what the sizing is on this one. And I haven't worked on that bottom part since I got that. If you are just learning some of my ways of stitching for full coverage, just for peace of mind, a lot of times I like to do the corners. I like to go to the corners. So across the top and across down one side of the bottom, usually you'll see me do. Not always, but quite often. So this is where I really concentrated on this week. In fact, I did work on this yesterday afternoon. Where did I work? Actually, I did some of the sky as well as some of the, I think I picked a symbol here that needed a few stitches, and then it's repeated over here. So I did some there, and then I worked on the sky and got some blue in. So again, 18 count, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And so I will continue working on this for the next couple days for the end of the month. And then there is, and I'll talk about this in plans, there is an event in Whip Warriors, which is a Facebook group currently closed, will open again in November, that does all sorts of challenges. But they've also said that, or I've kind of taken it in the sense of, if you want to practice the challenges without officially being part of the group, I talk about them. You certainly could give them a try and have some fun with it. See if it's something that you like, because you would have to take pictures and start and finishes. So, and that would give you an idea if in November when they open it up, you want to say, yeah, I'd like to give it a try. Or if you try it and you say, no, that's really not for me. Now, some of the events are only counting. Some of them are hours and counting. So they might say 100 stitches or 1 hour. So it's not, if you don't count, it's not the end of the world. There are certainly different things you can do besides. But as the end of the year gets closer and that opens up, I will let you know. Alrighty, so next I pulled out my Wizard of Oz tree from Tiny Modernist. I purposely did this because I knew I wanted to start another Tiny Modernist. Hint, hint. There's a new hashtag that I'm throwing out there. It's not mine. I'm just joining the bandwagon of Stitch Along. But I said I really want to get this one finished. It's not there yet, but it's getting close. And I definitely want it finished by the end of 2024. Here it is. But if I could finish it on the first half of 2024, that would be even more fantastic. So here here it is in all its glory. I don't know this morning, can you see the sparkle? It is an opal. It's 18 count opal blue ice from To Dye For Fabrics. To Dye For Fabrics is taking I'm hoping a sabbatical and not a retirement from hand dyeing. I really love her fabrics, but she decided in 2024 not to hand dye. Going forward, I don't know if she'll come back. Fingers crossed she does, because if you've known me long enough, you know I have a lot of her fabrics. So just plugging along, I finally have all of these a little tip if you are working on this, get these sleeves done. I found them a little bit, there's 2 different colors and it's just the counting, and they're exactly the same all the way through, but I found them just to be one of the hardest things. So I finally just buckled down and did it. I'm not completely done. Like, this isn't the only spot I have left. I have, for example, Dorothy's shoes. I think I want to do in Red Etoile. They don't have shoes or feet yet. There's a few people that don't have hands. You know, it's kind of one of those where I'll pull out a strand or 2 of something and just go back. And then there is a little bit of back stitching that hasn't been done yet. So I'll go back and do that too. But I thought the opal would be so much fun because, you know, Wizard of Oz is kind of, you know, that idea of sparkle and everything else would be fun. And that leads me into my next piece. So, oh, I need to look at my stitch along page here. So in my cross stitch planner, oops, everything's gonna start falling because I have stuff in the back. I do have some pages for stitch alongs. This page was carried over from last year. This page so far has been new ones. I only set aside 2 more pages. Hopefully I don't have any more stitch alongs than that. Otherwise it's going to be see the back page. So in this month, this came out, I believe, in Market. Tiny Modernist Alice in Wonderland tree. I love, there's some really fun Alice in Wonderland pieces. I've not stitched any. I saw this and I really enjoyed Wizard of Oz. So I said, oh, I want to do this, especially when Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe said she was going to start it, and she was starting a stitch along with Cross Stitch Couture is her name on Instagram. And there's 2 places when I say I'm going to link people below. There is a section where I'll say Flosstubers mentioned, but then there's also a section, for example, if I have a lot of info for a stitch along, sometimes I will put that in its own little section, and I will link the Flosstubers who are hosting it there. Not just Flosstubers, but whoever is hosting it, I'll put their information there. So I will link Cross Stitch the Globe, which is super fun to watch if you're not already watching it. I so enjoy when they put out videos. And I will also link Cross Stitch Couture from Instagram. So anyway, the hashtag is #TinyAliceSal, S-A-L. And I did start from the top. If you are following Allison, and I don't know what her Instagram, I forget now. I'm not 100% sure. If you watch their videos, Stephanie and Allison give their Instagram information. She's going from the bottom up, and it's looking phenomenal. Really, really good. And so is Cross Stitch Couture. Hers is looking, she's working, you went top down, I think, on yours. I don't remember. Go check it out. Really lovely. Well, I wanted to do the same fabric because how cool, let me just grab this one for a minute. Would this one be as a nice double kind of fun collection of Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland? So I did have extra. I had different plans for this opal blue ice, bought a big piece of it, and then didn't follow through on those plans. But that's actually been a happy accident because now I want to put this away so it doesn't get, oh, you know what? I'll fix it after. Now I have these to do. So this is my little start. Now, it doesn't look like much, but I have to tell you, there is a lot in this little Cheshire Cat. At least 300 stitches, I think. So there's a lot of different colors. So there's been some color changes. I just have to finish around here, and then I can work my way down. So again, it's the same 18 count opal blue ice from To Dye For Fabrics. Same exact piece. I just cut, and I was able to cut kind of the way after I'd cut that one. This was almost ready made. So it was meant to be honest with you. I just didn't know it at the time. So I think I'd like to do some more on this week to get a little farther. It's zipping along. Both Allison and, I am sorry. Oh, I keep saying Cross Stitch Couture because I can't remember her name. I don't know if, I am one that I have to hear someone's name over and over and over again, and then it finally clicks. But until I do that, when my kids were in school, it was so-and-so's mom until I really learned their name. And thank goodness for things like directories, because then I could look up a directory if I knew I had to talk to somebody, or I was going to be talking, not that I had to. And that way it saved me loads and loads because then it would look like I'd remembered somebody's name. But their progress is phenomenal, and it's been so fun to watch the start of it. Mine will go a little bit slower, I think. Okay, now this one doesn't have a lot, but I really wanted to iron out my colors of flosses. So I did pull it out. It's Life Happens, and it is from Georgia Girl Stitching Designs. You may recognize Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching from Flosstube. She has a lovely channel, super fun to watch, and she has fantastic projects. So as usual, I will link her as well as everybody else I'm talking about. I won this in a giveaway from Megan. She generally doesn't have hard covers, but she did, or like actual paper. Most of her patterns are digital. They can be found either on Etsy or Gumroad. And but she had a few that were printed up, and so I was the lucky recipient. And this is what I have so far. So there's not much different from the last time you saw it. When you saw it, I was playing around with the border because I was going to use a variegated, which I do like. And then I wanted to see with these other colors. So the border is, let me pull out what I'm using. It's called Emerald Isle. And again, it's a mess. But it's a manageable mess, unlike my Floche, which is a complete unmanageable mess. Oh, you know what? That might now. Ignore the extras threads there. It's all contained. I know what I'm doing. But this is Roxy Floss Co. And it is called Emerald Isle. And Megan actually has, now a lot of her colors a lot of times are variegated, but she gives really good DMC charts. So you're fine if you just, like me, use a lot of DMC. This color and what's here, I believe, are two different colors. I'm going to do the whole thing in the Emerald Isle. I think I have enough. Fingers crossed I have enough, because I only have the one skein. And maybe what I should do is do all around the edges, and then see if I'm gonna not do like these, but do this stuff. And then if I need to buy another one, if it's slightly different, that's okay. For the darker words, she had charted it. The DMC alternative was black. I was going to do that. Anchor black is what I like to use. But I went with, and it still looks sort of black, but I went with, where is it? 939. So that's that really deep, deep blue. I went with that instead, and I'm really liking that. It's just a little less harsh than the black. And then I did change the DMC alternative, was a little bit bright for my fabric especially, because this is an 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. So you can see something lighter probably wouldn't have kind of showed up. And I wanted something a little darker to really show the same colors as what Megan had in her picture. And so I'm ending up using DMC 782. And that I wanted to get that one letter in to see if it would show up nicely on the fabric. And I really do like it. The letters are really fun to stitch. I'm enjoying them quite a bit. And they'll go fast. So then really, it's just the border, which that first day I stitched on it, I did get into a routine. So I feel like that I will be able to get a routine in. And so overall, I think this could be a start and a finish this year. I started it on St. Patrick's Day. I thought that was fitting. Okay, so this one, I did put a little bit more in yesterday because this is my 25/7 piece, which means basically I stitch on it for 25-ish minutes, probably around 2 strands generally. A day, every day, and I'm going to continue doing that until it's finished, unless there's something else more pressing that I need to stitch. Summer at the Shore, Cottage Garden Samplings, and I'm getting very close. I'm almost to the point you can see here, you see how there's kind of that, it's 762, so it's gray, but it looks white. You've got all of that. And then once all that outer outline's done, then it's just all fill in. So I have a little bit more outline to do, as you can see, right here. But then once the outline's done, it's all just filling in those colors. Yesterday when I did film, I only had here. So my 2 strands were this area right down here. And that is done now. So the only thing that's missing on the lighthouse is, you can see how you've got that darker gray. There's like a door there. So I've got that to do. Fill in. What I might do is today, I might try to get all of the extra, that outline in. That probably may take my 25 minutes. I'm not sure. And then that's a quick fill in, and then all of these. This is 18 count, Compelling Conscious, also from Those Missing Stitches. Now, in Those Missing Stitches, she, this year, is not got her entire repertoire of colors represented at all times. She has quarterly pieces and monthly pieces that she is kind of rotating in and out. This one might be the monthly, so it's almost going away, and the quarter is going to be changing. And I want to say Darling David, which is what I did when Life Happens, that might be a quarterly one. So that might be going away as well. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the beginning of April, seeing what she pulls out. Alrighty, what's next? Oh, this one I do need to show you a digital piece. There it is. I joined a stitch along at the end of January for the Quaker flags from Vivsters. So this is what the US flag looks like. I was watching Karen the Stitching Owl, and I'm almost sure I have, yep, I talked about Karen before the last time, yesterday, so it's already on my list to talk to Link. Karen is from Canada and has a fantastic Flosstube if you're not watching. But she's doing the Canadian flag, and she's got a plan to do it, I think, within a year. And these are big. So there's no way I guess I should never say never, right? But I'd be pretty shocked if this was done within a year. The Stitch Along, the hashtag is, where is it? 2024 Quaker Flag Sal, and it is hosted by Gail from Wombat Hollow Crafts. She's not put out a Flosstube recently. They're in the process of moving or building a house and moving. So I've been missing her Flosstube. She has really nice stitching. And Nicole from Daffodil Design Studio. And I don't know if Nicole's put one out recently either. I'm actually missing videos sometimes. And I check the lists and stuff, but there's so much great Flosstubes out there that I just can't seem to get it all. But they are hosting it, and basically visitors on Etsy just has been creating, as people have requested, flags of their countries, or I want to say even, I saw somebody, it was a county in England, I think, that they asked her to do a flag of, might have, and they might be stitching that as well. But here's mine. This is 18 count Brave Boromir, also from Those Missing Stitches. I kind of had to laugh. I didn't plan it this way, but these 3 pieces all have the same. And this is lovely, and I have no idea how far that. Isn't that a great gray? It really is really nice. I think I ended up buying, because this might be a quarterly color, so it's going to be done soon for now. I think I ended up buying another piece once I realized how much I liked this on there. So you can see here I have almost this one. This is what I worked on this past session. These are no joke. I can't remember. I don't know if there's like 500 or 600 fill-in stitches. So you can see it's quite a bit. What I've been doing is, and you can tell I've started to do that here, stitching the little Quaker design first, and then just doing fill-in, which is great for Zooms, or if I was stitching somewhere in person, or even in the car, that would be really easy to do because I wouldn't have to even look at a pattern kind of thing. What I would like to do is do more of the boxes. Now, obviously, the section with the full coverage blue is small. Then we have red and white Quakers, and those are not filled in. So that will go much faster. These are what's going to take the longest period of time. I think the red that she offered as a choice, I may try it in here. I want to say it's like 3777. You know that color. And I'm not 100% sure that's what I want. So I may be fiddling with that. We'll see when I get there. But my goal when I pick this up, obviously next, I'd like to fill this in. If I have a lot of concentration, I'll go and I'll do this Quaker instead. And then these are pretty easy. It's just a matter of paying attention to how many you've done. So I would like to get some more of those boxes done as well, because that way I can just kind of fill in at will. If I get kind of tired of doing the blue boxes and I want to do just some of the red and white ones, I can, and back and forth. 2 more pieces. This next piece is, I can't show it to you. It's a secret. I held off, and then I said I have to stitch this because it looked so much fun, and I'm going to give it a try. If you watch the Hathaway Stitchers, I was going to say Hathaway Sisters. They are sisters, but their channel is Hathaway Stitchers. Another really lovely channel, and I'm sure I have them linked. Yep. So if you want to watch them, I will give you links. They're fairly new to Flosstube, but really fun stitching, and a lot of things that I had not seen before, which is really fun because, you know, I like to see all sorts of stitching, whether it's people who stitch your kind of traditional stitches or people that stitch like non-traditional. It's just so much fun. But anyway, they started a kind of mystery. No, it's a secret. It's not a mystery. We know what we're stitching, but nobody else can see. So watch their video if you really want all of the coherent details, because I'm really kind of fluffing it up a little bit. But they basically said, take this pattern from Ink Circles. It is Garden of Zig, which is a beautiful pattern, by the way. And I'd never really noticed it before, but so fun. And take this pattern. You cannot use anything called for, not the called for fabric, not the called for floss. You have to change it completely up, and then you can't show anybody until you're done. So they officially started it, I don't remember what day. I started it like a few weeks later, and the goal is to have it finished by May 31st. Now, of course, if you jump in and it's after May 31st, just have fun with it and then show it when it's done. But the kind of the big reveal is May 31st. And if you do join and want to give this a try, there is an Instagram group. I don't know what they're called. And you just ask to be part, you know, if you ask to join it. And it's really enjoyable. A lovely group of people are stitching it and are part of that group. And I'm enjoying it. So I'm really glad that I did that as well. But I can't show you. I'm really excited. It took me a minute to kind of, I had some stops and starts with some of my choices. I guess that's probably to be expected when you're kind of changing everything, right? But I really like the direction that I'm going in. Now, I am doing it by paper, but I know several of the people doing it are doing it in markup. It's Ink Circles. I'm sure it works in Pattern Keeper as well. I'm liking it on the paper, but I did ask them how many stitches it was, and it's 7,000 and something. I'm not sure, so it's not huge. And so since I count my stitches, I can manually, well, with the calculator, figure out my percentage. So as of yesterday when I filmed, because I did do a little bit yesterday afternoon, I was at 11.6%. And Stephanie from Cross Stitch Globe. So Stephanie and Allison are also stitching it as well. I want to say the thumbnail of their latest video is they're kind of showing with, it just says top secret or something. It's cute. Stephanie said in her video that if you had started it sometime this week, if you did 100 stitches a day between now and May 31st, you'd have it finished. So I am going to do what Stephanie tells me to do, and I'm going to stitch 100 stitches a day on it. Now, if I'm in a groove, I'll try to do a little bit more than that. Obviously, if you're in the middle of, if you're in the middle of a flower, or you're in the middle of a stem, or if you're in the middle of something, right, you'd keep going. But I definitely want to get that minimum of 100 so that I know I'm safe and I'll have it finished by May 31st. And if I get a little bit extra on a given day, that's not a bad thing, because that gives me a little leeway if I can't stitch on it in a given day. Okay, the very last piece that I stitched this week, you're going to be shocked, I haven't shown it in a while, is Kringles from Little House Needleworks. So when I had said that I needed the very last thing for this, the Crafts and Books acrostic challenge was a K, and I couldn't think what to do. Well, you all came to the rescue. I had two awesome kind of overriding suggestions. One was anything that was Kris Kringle, right? So anything with Santa, and that made me think, oh boy, I have Kringles. That's easy. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And then also Karen Kluba from Rosewood Manor. So I worked on this through the week, and then I did pull out my blue Rhapsody, I think is what it's called, from Rosewood Manor, and I will work on that this week because I want, they were both awesome suggestions. I know March is going to end, but I don't think Beth will mind if I work on it. And so that's what you'll see. You'll see Blue Rhapsody next week. But this is the one I worked on. If you are new, my Kringles building is a 2-story building. This upper corner is going to remain empty until I can find, and people have been giving me suggestions. I just haven't found, it's when you have something in your head, that's actually sometimes, it can be helpful or it can be extremely a pain, because then, you know, either that gives you a direction, but sometimes it also stops you from taking other things because you have something in your head. I want to have Santa sitting in a chair here, and I am not talented enough to chart it myself. So, especially in kind of this prim vibe, traditional vibe kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it'll come to me eventually, but it'd probably be the last one I do. And then I'm just picking and choosing what I want to do in the other areas. The bottom here, I'll keep the chandeliers, but I'm not necessarily going to keep what's charted there. I might pick pieces from some of the other rooms that I haven't chosen. So here is my Kringles, and this is done on an 18 count Artemis from Bestitch Me. I am using Petite Treasure Braid for these, and then I mixed it, or actually no, that's not it. Did I mix it with another? Yeah, I did. That's 2 strands, one of Petite Treasure Braid and one of another floss. So it kind of sparkles here. This I am just using, I don't know if I'm mixing this one. Oh, maybe I am. I better check that before I continue. I'm almost, actually, you know what? I think I am mixing it 1 and 1, so that I have the sparkle. And then I did use a 12 for these snowflakes. They're still kind of fading a little bit, but that's okay. Everything else, it's kind of the vibe of the whole scene anyway. And so I decided I wanted to pick up this room. I really liked this up here, the whole part of it. I said, how perfect, that's what I'll do in this room right here. So I'd like to maybe try to do some more challenges on this one so that I can get some more work on it, but that's where it is right now. This is almost, I'm not 100% sure if this is my oldest piece at this point. It's pretty darn close. This was started in May of 2020. I did my version of Mania. I think I did a start a Monday, 1 start a week, and they were bigger pieces. And of that, this is the only one still remaining. So it would be really nice to kind of just get it done. Okay, I did have 3 full finishes, and I went into these long explanations in my last video. I'll keep it a little bit tighter this time around. If you do have questions, I'm always happy to try to give you some info. Just as a reminder, when I show you these, 2 things. 1, I like minimal, so they're not, I am not good at, no, that's not the wrong word. I could be good at adding all of the embellishments. It's just a choice that I generally don't make. I'm not good at making bows, I will say that. Years and years, every time I tried to do a bow on a card, it never really worked. But I could do the embellishments, and I think I could be good at it, but I just don't think of it, to be honest with you. That was 1. What was 2? Oh, I'm a paper crafter. So I lean on my skills of paper crafting as well as just what I'm doing with the stitching. So kind of keep that in mind when you think about my finishes. So this is 3 more finishes for 2024, and I am doing, as you recall, 55 finishes for my 55th year, full finishes. not stitching finishes. And what does this bring me up to? This brings me up to 16 for the year. Super excited. So for these two patterns, the first two that I'm going to show you, I took little parts of bigger patterns, and they're both from Sugar Stitch. What does it say? This one says Sugar Stitches Design. So let me show you. This is the first one. Isn't he cute? And this comes from, they had a whole Easter section of Cottontail and Company, different things. And this was Cottontail and Company. That's what it looks like, candies. And I had bought a couple of these, but I didn't want to stitch the whole thing. And I said, how cute would these be as ornaments? So this is stitched just that middle section. I'm sure I used the called for colors. They really look good on this blue. This was an ice dyed from To Dye For Fabrics that she had kind of, she had sent to me as a kind of a thank you for ordering, because I ordered quite a bit from her. Just have fabric in the back on another board, matching purple ribbon, and then I also had some purple felt that I put on the back. So super simple, but I love the colors, and I wasn't sure what color I wanted to pull out as the background, but I think the purple works really nicely. So that's the first one. The second one, let me show you the overall picture, and you'll get a sense, you'll know right away what I stitched part. Cottontail and Co. Delivery, I think is what it's called. Also Sugar Stitches. I pulled out the little bunny in the truck with his little delivery of eggs. Isn't that cute? It was the same blue fabric. This one looks a little bit more ice dyed though. You can kind of get that vibe from it. On this one, I really wanted to do something with felt. So what I did was I have metal dies. You can get metal dies from tons of companies. I have I don't know if they still sell the big shots, but I have a big shot. I don't know if it was originally EK Success. For a while, Stampin' Up was selling them. I'm not sure if you can still buy them, but it is not a electric one. It is a manual kind of one. So anyway, I have metal dies from all sorts of companies. I want to say this one could be a Spellbinders. I'm not sure this shape, but I thought this was fun. It was just slightly bigger than my rectangle, and it worked. So what I did was I cut, this time around, I really liked this mint sort of felt, and I've been buying some of my felt from Benzie Designs. They have three types, one super, super thin, one medium, that might be their, I don't know, there's one that's called Bellwether, and I don't know if that's the medium one, and then one that's thick, and it's just wool. This is the medium. So I felt like it needed a little shoring up. I have from Paper Tray Ink, I have the heavier, and if you die cut that, it can stand up on its own. It's quite thick. This was a little thinner. So what I did was I cut another die, I die cut another one of these shapes in cardstock, and I backed it with that. So this, my stitching, I used hot glue and I stitched it onto the felt. Then I used Aleene's tacky glue to stitch to adhere the cardstock to that layer of felt. And then once I added the ribbon, and again, I went with the purple, I thought that was fun. It almost matches the color perfectly. Then I cut out one more piece of cardstock, and then I used double-sided tape to attach the two layers of cardstock together. So 3 different forms of adhesive, but each one had just the right use. So I thought that was really cute. And then the last one I stitched, it's Primrose Cottage. It's one of those, you know, it's one of their small, you know, for holidays. I don't know if they're called like postage stamp kind of things. I'm not 100% sure. I stitched that one right there. I think they have usually 3 for a holiday. I don't know if I stitched the other 2 or not. But I did that. And then I was originally going to just have it as a simple little, put a hanger on it, put the felt on the back, and boom, you're done. But I had sent both my children little Easter, I'm going to say Easter basket boxes. I'm not seeing either one for Easter. And I said, well, and I know they're older, but you know, it's just fun to send them something, right? So I filled the box full of candy and fun stuff and whatever, and I sent it. And I'm just going to show you the back for a minute. I die cut this bunny shape, and wrote a little note on each one for each kid and sent it out. Well, for some reason I had die cut 3. I don't know why. I don't have 3. I have 2 children. I'm not sure why I did a third. But it was laying on my table when I was trying to figure out what to do. And I said, well, a lot of people layer their stitching on shapes and whatever, like wooden shapes, and just put it out. Why couldn't I layer it on this cardstock? Excuse me. And I said, let's try it. I did use the Aleene's tacky glue to do the paper to the stitching. And I mean, if I were to rip it off, I'm sure it might come off, but you know, it's going to stay gentle, so it's going to be fine. Now, if I wanted to, I thought about maybe die cutting 2 more of these and just layering them. That's how, if your cardstock, and this is fairly thick cardstock. I don't know if this one might be Stamping Up. I'm not sure. It's either Stamping Up, Paper Tray Ink, or Gina K Designs. Those are the cardstocks that I use, if you're wondering. I could have done a couple more layers, but it was strong enough. And then I was trying to figure out, well, do I just lean it? And that was originally my plan. But I had this little fun little holder that I put my very first trading card, which I didn't trade, I just kept it. I keep that here, and I always keep it in this little holder. And I said, well, isn't that cute? I can just take the card out of that. This is just from Michael's. I need to run there, maybe pick up some more, because it's a fun way to hold. Let me show you. Carla, are you watching? I traded with Carla from Carla Being Crafty, and one of the trades I did in the recent swap, and I chose the T. But so this is a great way, and I mean, you don't have to have it as wide, but it's a great way to hold trading cards. So those are fun, and they come, I think they come in, not, you know, I don't want to put that out yet. I don't think clear might be the only way they come, but I thought this was super cute. And let me grab my, where is it? My notebook. I have my challenge notebook right here. So I'll put that on there so you can see it flat without me holding it. I'm putting that on my shelves. I'll hang these underneath on the hooks from the shelves. And we're good to go. I just thought that was super cute and a great way to do it. And all I had to do was, you know, put my stitching on the comic book board. And then I had this cute little piece of cardstock. This metal die is part of a 3-part series. There's 3 different sizes, same exact shape, large, medium, small, from Spellbinders. I do not know if Spellbinders still sells them. The small one looks just like a peep. So if you were using them in paper crafting, if you wanted to scrapbook any of your stitches, or you wanted some sort of peep design, I don't know. I would look for Spellbinders. They're metal, if you have a metal die cutter that you can use. So that was my 3 full finishes this week as well. So I felt like I was really productive with lots of stitching, 1 stitch finish and 3 full finishes. So that is that. So plans. I Spy, which is a game that I host, I guess, for want of a better word. The prompts are up on Facebook. I was not playing around with things on my YouTube studio because I was trying to upload the video. So I didn't get it on the community tab yesterday. Sometime this weekend, the prompts, the 10 prompts will go up. They'll go up on the community tab. So you do not have to be a member of Facebook. If you like Facebook and you like joining groups, I do have a Facebook page. It's called Stitching by the Shore, Laura. Feel free to join. Just answer all the questions and agree to the rules. There are 3 questions, and then I agree to the rules thing. Otherwise, sometimes if you don't do that, YouTube, Facebook will just kick it away, and I won't even see it. So, because sometimes I'll get an email, but I don't see my emails right away because I don't always have my phone with me. And so by the time I get to Facebook, there's nothing there. It said somebody had asked to join, but then the information's gone because Facebook sent it away because the questions weren't answered. But if you are on Facebook and you are joining, there is an events section in my page. If you go to that, April I Spy event is up. If you like to do pictures and posts and all that, feel free to make a post in the events page, in that actual page. If you don't like doing pictures, you don't have to. If you want to play around with it, you can. If you're like me, you half the time forget to do a before picture. Sometimes you forget to do the after picture. I am very mellow on that. Please don't worry if there is no right or wrong way to do it. This is just a chance. I give you 10 prompts. You try to find those things somehow or other within any of your projects, and you can repeat, so on and so forth. If there's one project you really want to focus on, see how many you can get with all the prompts. Some of them are very literal. So like one of the prompts this month is clouds. That's pretty literal. Then one of the prompts happens to be something that makes you laugh. The thought of it. I try to sometimes coordinate, so April Fools, so something that makes you laugh. So that is kind of more interpretive. And then you just go from there. So if you're on Facebook, that is already up. Some point this weekend, they'll go up on the community tab, and feel free to ask questions and play along if you like. All right, so the I Spy. There are 2 stitch along starts from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, spring 2024. He is Risen Sal. That is one of the patterns called He is Risen. Georgia Girl Stitching started that, and the start was to be a start yesterday. It can be a start anytime, right? That just happened to feel like a good start date. Spoiler alert, I didn't get to it yesterday, but I'm going to work on it this weekend. And then hashtag Spring Shower Sal. Myself and Debbie, sorry, Debbie, and she's Glitter Dove Fairy on Instagram. I'll link her. If you go to the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it is the pattern called Current Mood, which is the woman with the umbrella and it's raining, we are stitching that. And I'd say pretty much everybody who's stitching it is doing their own take on it. So Debbie and I are stitching it. Sandy from Stitchin' with Sandy is also starting it. I'm sure I have Sandy's name down here somewhere. I'm gonna make sure. Carla from Carla Being Crafty, I know she's starting it. And then, oh, I'm gonna blank. I was just watching, and you know, I'm gonna do the same exact thing I did yesterday. You'd think I would have looked this up. Oh, Mother-Daughter Stitchers from Phoenix. She's a teacher. She's on break right now. She loves Fourth Wing. What is her name? She showed in her very last video. I am sorry. I'll link them. I'll link the channel, but I'm just blanking on the name. She is stitching it and changing it radically, but it's really cool. She shows in the most recent video what she's doing and what her plans are. So that's really cool. So if you want to see, the channel will be linked below. Nope, it's not coming. It's not coming at all. But so there's a lot of people joining along. If you'd like to join as well, the official date, if I can get myself going, of starting for us, Debbie and myself, is April 2nd. But, you know, feel free to join at any time. I'm pretty mellow when it comes to all these different things. Do what you can when you can. And then there is an event in Whip Warriors called Lion versus Lamb, and it's a full coverage event where basically you stitch one of your full coverages for 1,000 stitches, and then you move on to the next one. Some people are doing it from their least stitched to their most. I am just going with whatever I feel like doing. The first one I'll probably do is Mini Paris Morning, since that's out. If you are part of that, one thing I will give you, just a reminder with Whip Warriors, read all of the instructions. This event requires a code word, so they won't give that till the event starts. That code word, just write it on a piece of paper. When you take a before picture, that code word must be on it. And I'm not 100% sure. I'll probably, for the safe side, put it on my after picture as well. Post with the code word before, after, and then all the information on top has to be filled out for you to get credit if you're doing Whip Warriors. So please read all the instructions. I'd hate for you to do all sorts of work and then be disappointed because you've gotten your stitching done, which is fantastic. But if you don't, you know, get credit for it, it might be disappointing for you. But I think I'm going to do that event and see what I can get accomplished. I mean, 1,000 stitches, if I was just doing full coverage, I could probably get a lot. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So for Happy Mail, I'm going to wait on that. So the video is a little bit shorter. I got some really lovely, lovely Happy Mail. And I'm so appreciative of it. And I want to take the time to talk about that. So I will leave that for next week. So I'm just going to write happy mail next week so I know. Shopping, I have, well, I almost said zero. I really did. I know, surprising, right? The only thing that I did, and it sort of came in because I get the digital. It's the digital version of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. If you don't want to see the front, don't look. Turn away right now if you want to be surprised. I'm not going to tell you which ones are my favorites yet because I want to wait till people have a chance to get it. So this is the cover if you're interested in getting a quick look at it. There are at least 2 that really caught my eye, but I think there's even more. And, you know, generally there's 1, sometimes 2, but I really feel like this, and maybe because it's spring, this issue is a lot brighter in some ways, and the colors are a little bit bolder and brighter, and I just love quite a few of the patterns. So I just have to remember, I find it easier actually to remember to stitch things from, I just got a subscription to Just Cross Stitch magazine, and that you can flip through and you can see. I kind of forget with the digital sometimes. What I should do is just download the ones I know I want to stitch and put them in my Dropbox. That way, when I'm thinking of things to stitch, I can see it. That's really all I bought. I mean, technically, I bought it a long time ago, and this issue just came in. So, but I am buying this weekend, and I do want to show you Stitch is So Beautiful, which is a full coverage company on Etsy. I'll link them down below. They're having a 50% off sale. It's going on right now, and I think it's going through April 2nd. Now, I don't know if that means April 2nd, beginning of the day or the end of the day. I'm going to buy this weekend for sure. But I love this piece right here. Most of you would know that I have loved the Fourth Wing books so far, the first 2. The third has been announced that it is coming out in January of 2025. It's called Onyx Storm. You can pre-order it already. I did notice, though, just be careful if you pre-order. I'm one of the groups that I am in for Fourth Wing. Somebody said that there are 2 versions you can pre-order, a special edition or a regular. So make sure, you know, if there's one that you wanted over another, just pay attention to whatever you're pre-ordering. But this just reminds me of Violet, right? I mean, I know, okay, we need the streak of kind of the white in her hair to truly be her, but I just thought it just spoke to me right away when I saw it, and I just love it. So I think I'd like to start this sooner rather than later. So if you'd like to stitch this with me, it's something like $6.50 right now. It's 50% off on Stitch is So Beautiful. So come and join me if you want. I think I'll start it in April just because I keep looking at it and I keep loving it. And it's different kind of colors and vibe than some of my other stitches. I am also going to go through and see what else I might like and might buy something else than that. So next week's shopping may have some full coverage pieces from Stitch is So Beautiful. We'll see. If you get anything, let me know, because I love to see what other people choose and what really speaks to you. There's some really cool patterns on there because she has a whole slew of different types of artists. So you get a little chance of doing a little bit of everything. And it's a really lovely company to deal with. Okay, so that's really it for shopping. All I got. So let's do giveaways. Alrighty, so because I filmed early last week, I did not pull the winner from the last, because I filmed actually Wednesday evening. And if I talk about life real quick, I will talk about why. But so that I like to give people as much possible chance as possible to join a giveaway, right? And I always pick the names right before I film. So it would help if I have the right name here for the right giveaway. This one here was this, what is this? Spring Trio from Annabella's. And the winner is Lisa Tripp. Congratulations, Lisa. The YouTube also added HS5TM to your name. I'm sure that's a YouTube thing, but I always put them just in case, because some people do like to add numbers to the end of there. So Lisa, if you could get back to me with your address on that, I will send it to you. And then the other one was the Quaint Quakers #2 Summer from Quaint Rose Needle Arts. I bought one for me and I bought one as a giveaway. And the winner there was Deborah Klein. Congratulations, Deborah. If you could get back to me, let me know you saw this and just confirm your address. That would be fantastic. And then this week's giveaway, let me put this over here, that I'm going to do. I realized I had 2 of these. I'm stitching this myself. This one's a little beat up, and I will show you where it is beat up. So if that bothers you, I just want to let you know. But this was, it probably just the way I got, it's either got shipped or was stored by myself that it was beat up. I have not used this. I have my own hard copy in with my stitching. But I'm stitching Seaside Tiny Town. You know that there are other tiny towns that came out over market, but maybe you didn't get this one and you think it's cute. I am changing all of the colors, or most of the colors on this, to kind of brighten it up a little bit. But lots of fun different ways you could do that. So if you would like me to enter you for this for next giveaway, just say the word where. Oh, see, I had 2 sets of notes because I had so much to talk about. Here it is. And I don't remember what I said. Oh, say the word crab, because there's cute little crabs there. C-R-A-B. So if you say that, let me show you right here. So it is a little bent there, and then back here you can see, and the edges are. So if that is something that does bother you, I just want to be full disclosure. I have not used it though. This has just been in my pile of things to do as giveaways. It does still have, just trust me on that. It's because I don't want to show the pattern. It still has the beads and everything that did come with the original. So if you would like to kind of put your name in for this, the word is crab. Okay, so that's it. That is the stitching. And yes, I have definitely come in faster so far than last week, yesterday's video, but that's also because I didn't do my happy mail. Maybe I'll try not to stitch as much this week, so I can talk about all the other stuff, not just the stitching. Yeah, so if that is all you're here for, then thank you for being here, and I hope you have a fantastic week. If you're sticking around, let's just do a quick chat. I'll try not to be as chatty. The video I filmed yesterday was 1 hour and 49 minutes. So you can see right now we're at 1 hour and 11. So let's see if I can do this in 10 minutes. So yes, I filmed on Wednesday afternoon because I was and this was just regular routine checks. Nothing was wrong. But on Friday, I did go in for a colonoscopy. I am 55. Well, not quite. I'm 54. I'll be 55 in October. I turned 50 right before COVID. I thought I would have time to kind of schedule for when my 50th birthday. That didn't happen. Through a whole series of weird and unfortunate events, I just haven't been able to get it. This is my very first colonoscopy. Everything's fine. I came through with sailing colors. Doctor said everything looks great. He currently said 10 years. I don't have to come back. The guidelines may change because the age to start has changed. So I'll kind of check in as I get close to the 5-year mark and see if they've changed the guidelines and see if I need to go in 5 years or if I can wait the 10. But obviously, I kept things very, very strict to keep the final prep as painless as possible. You know, I mean, the horror stories people tell you about colonoscopies is basically just the before you even get the procedure. The procedure itself, I mean, is quick. It was easy. The doctor they put me asleep. I had a great nap. I woke up feeling really refreshed and I was done, but I was starving. But for those of you who don't know, I'm vegan. So for me, I was a bit more concerned about how easy or difficult the week leading up to the procedure would be. So 7 days before, everybody has certain things they cannot eat at all. And then it's pretty open. But I am a big fan of Dr. Alan Desmond, and he is a UK doctor. He is a GI, board certified practicing doctor, who advocates vegan eating for health, especially colon health. And, you know, he's a worldwide speaker, so on and so forth. But whatever your thoughts are, this is just who I happen to enjoy listening to. And he has a specific prep for vegans. I would say for vegetarians, it would be useful. For anybody, it's useful. And I actually downloaded that and I followed that, which meant I gave myself an extra day. So I had the procedure on Friday. By Monday, I had cut out all fiber out of my diet. And if you know me, all I eat's fiber. So it was a challenging week. And then obviously the day before Thursday, which was when I thought I was going to film, you don't eat anything. And I was going to be cranky. When I don't eat, I get really, really cranky. So that's why I filmed on Wednesday afternoon. But I have to say, you know, obviously go check with your own doctors to make sure you could follow this type of prep if you wanted to. But I found Thursday, besides the fact that I was just starving and hungry a good portion of the day, and I get kind of headachy and this, that, and the other, the prep itself, I found for me, really not that bad. I don't have any horror stories to tell you. I thought it was fine. The biggest horror story was that I was scheduled to show up at the place at 11:30. And I said, what? That means I cannot eat until I didn't eat till 2 on Friday afternoon or whatever it was, when all was said and done. But if you are somebody who has no idea what to do and you do have food restrictions and so on and so forth, that is maybe a place to look. Check with your doctor. I don't know what any of your other medical history restrictions would be. Please, please, if you are due for a colonoscopy, please go get one. Super, super important. On that same note, this past week, I also had my mammogram for the year because the doctor was like, it's time for that too. Different doctors, but you know, I'm going through all of my appointments, yearly appointments. And I just happened to luck out. I called on Monday and they said, we have a cancellation Tuesday morning. You want to come? Because otherwise I'd have to wait a month. I said, yeah. By Tuesday night, I had my results. Everything's fine again. But please, 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 if you're due for a mammogram, please get that done as well. Super, super important. I want you stitching with me for a long, long time to come. So let's make sure we're good and healthy. Okay, so that was my week and my kind of public service announcement all rolled in one. I also, both our cars needed the car registrations redone. So we were very busy adulting this past week. It was less fun and more adulting stuff, but you know, it has to get done. I now have a registered car for another 2 years, so I'm okay. What else did we do? Well, last night, actually, we went downtown, ish, I guess. It's whatever downtown would be called. And down in Rehoboth, and we just stopped by and had a little bit of dinner and stopped by for happy hour down at one of the local bar areas. Restaurant / bar, but we always like eating in the bar. I feel like you get really good service when you eat in the bar. We found that in bunches of different places. So that's kind of a favorite thing of ours to do. So anyway, that was fun. So after all of the adulting and all of the stuff that had to get done, we did something fun last night. Yeah, that's about it. The weather is still cold. Allergy season, I guess, is supposed to get heavy because pollen is very, very high this weekend. So I'll just be snuffling over here in the background because pollen is definitely something that my little sinuses do not like. It is a holiday weekend, but I believe that it's just Mo and myself, just the two of us. That's okay. I like spending time with Mo, so I'm all right with that. And he likes spending time with me, so we're good. Today is Saturday, and both UConn men and women are still in the tournament and still playing. So that is on our agenda because we are almost our entire lives were spent in Connecticut. Mo went to law school at UConn, so you know there's a whole connection there as well. And then Aston Villa also played today, so lots of injuries. It's going to be a little bit of a nail biter, so fingers crossed that Aston Villa comes out with a win. Sorry, Wolves fans. We really want an Aston Villa win. Okay, Mo will be much happier if that happens. There's some tough games coming up, so they really need a win today. What else? That's about it. If you celebrate Easter, I hope you have a wonderful, lovely holiday day, weekend, whatever happens to be for you, what your celebrations are. If you don't celebrate, just have a fantastic weekend. I hope you enjoy whatever you happen to be doing. And I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. There's a lot of stuff. I've recently, someone locally, someone said they had pneumonia, another person had COVID, another person had the flu. There's a lot going around. So please take care of yourself because I want you Spring is got to come at some point. It feels like it's going to be here any day now. And then it says, nope, not today. One of these days, it's going to be here. So I want you to be able to enjoy your spring, or if you're in the other part of the world, your autumn, right? That's a fun time of year too. And so let's stay healthy all together. And always remember that you are important. You matter. So the things you like to do are important. Please take the time to do something for yourself that you like each and every day, because self-care is not selfish. It is super important. All right. Until next time, happy stitching.